I'm joined by Representative Jim Struzzi, Republican Appropriations Chair in the House. What stood out to you the most in the governor's speech today?
Well, it certainly was quite the speech, and I think he laid out a lot of challenges. I think we can all agree that we have a lot of unmet needs in Pennsylvania, that we have a lot of challenges ahead of us as far as funding those needs. But what stood out to me the most was the fact that the governor did not once mention the amount of his proposed spending plan. It's a spending plan, not a budget, because when you have a budget, usually your expenses and your revenues meet to create a balanced budget. So the number that we're talking about here is $51.4 billion, a $3.6 billion increase from the budget that the governor proposed last year, at a time when revenues are only expected to increase by $1.3 billion. So where is that money coming from? That is our concern. As I said, we understand there are many needs out there, many challenges that we as a Commonwealth need to provide for. But at the same time, we cannot jeopardize our future by spending all of our money, and that is essentially what the governor is proposing to do. Now, he laid out some new revenue ideas that really aren't reality. We're looking at drawing down the rainy day fund, as the governor has proposed, by $1.6 billion, depleting our entire surplus and banking, again, on revenues that aren't reality.
Is there any support in your caucus to support either of the revenue generators that the governor talked about, particularly recreational marijuana and or regulating and taxing skills games?
Well, I think the important point to note is that this is the beginning of the process. The governor lays out his parameters, his wish list, if you will, and it's our job as a caucus, as Appropriations Committee, to break down those ideas, those thoughts through the budget hearing process that will start in a few weeks and get to some basis of reality. I think that what we really need to do, though, is look at the revenue sources we have now and how can we maximize those, and in particular, our energy industry. You know, the governor mentioned energy in his lightning plan and mentioned that, certain groups support that plan. I would submit they support that plan because they have to. They have no other choice until the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative goes away. And we know over the past 6 years, we've seen billions of dollars leave this state. And those are revenues that we could be using to balance this budget. But instead, we're relying on recreational marijuana and skill games, which, I understand we have to find some way to regulate skill games. But those things are not in front of us right now as far as generating taxes. They are ideas and proposals. I say we base our budget in reality. And we can do that in a lightning manner if we just step out of the way and let our energy industry prosper.
One more question on that energy proposal. The lightning plan, one piece of that was what he called the PACER plan from last year, which was basically a carbon tax. Is that something that your caucus is willing to support?
Absolutely not. It's simply Reggie by another name. Any tax on manufacturing, on energy production, is anti-Pennsylvania. It really goes against the grain of what we have here as our best resources, and those are the resources under our feet. And by simply even talking about that, we know capital investment has gone to other states like Ohio, West Virginia, and Texas, where they embrace energy production and manufacturing.
Representative Jim Struzzi, thank you for joining us. Now